Hi, my name is Jackie Lee Price and welcome to Shadowboxruk. I'm here today in Scunny, in the Scunthorpe Boxing Gym with Gemma Richardson. How are you, Gemma?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm really well. Excellent to see you. Okay, God, loads to talk about. Let's go through your list of achievements first.
Yeah.
5 national championships.
Yeah.
3 times European champion.
Yeah.
World Youth Champion. Fantastic. Let's talk about your last national title. You beat Jessica Patterson, didn't you? Stoppage in the first round. Do you sort of struggle now to find opponents on the domestic level?
Yeah, I think when I first started boxing anyway, because there was not many female boxers, it was a real struggle. And obviously, as I've grown older and got in England and won the Europeans, it's gone very hard. So a couple of years ago, I had to move up a weight class to get a fight in the nationals. So this year to be able to get 2 fights it was incredible to be able to box in England again and have a semis and a final. I
mean, do you think now you're at a point where it's almost not beneficial to you to go into a national championships?
I never really look at it that way. I always think whoever my next opponent is, they're as good as me and it's going to be a great fight. But I think sometimes people around me in my club think it may be not as beneficial as a youth or a junior when I was growing up.
And so let's talk about the Europeans in Sofia. Impressive win against the German, particularly as she was several inches taller than you.
Yeah,
was she tricky to box?
Yeah, very, because a couple of years ago we boxed each other previously in Bulgaria at the same venue in the final as well. So I think, and last year, we both know each other, we both watched each other box, we've boxed each other, we know exactly what each other's styles are. Yeah. We sparred each other in Ireland on a training camp. So I think the clash of styles and how well we know each other, I think it makes it a bit difficult in the height difference and everything. So it was really good to get the win against her.
I mean, with that said, I mean, you struggled in the first round for probably the first half a round, but then you gained momentum and you found your what's the word I'm looking for? You found your distance really well. I mean, and realistically dominated the fight after that. I mean, you were a bit aggressive, aren't you?
Yeah, that's my style. I'm very aggressive. I'll come for a little tear up. I try and use my boxing brain, but sometimes if anything fails, I'll use my engine. But I think, it takes me a while to judge my range and that, but as soon as I get it, I try and use it to the most I can use it.
I mean, most definitely, you really did. Like I say, once you'd found that distance, I mean, there's a lovely head movement as you were working your way in. And to be fair, I was quite surprised she didn't just try and pepper you with that long jab.
Yeah, I think we thought the game plan was going to be she'll keep it off nice and long, jab, move off, keep me on the end of all of his shots. But I think I wore her down a bit, and I think when I got my head movement right and when I got into side her range and we got the tactics right in the corner, I think it was a bit too much for her.
I mean, really a massive achievement, because obviously there were things that we know that you were going through at the time, going through those Europeans. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about that?
Yeah, so during the prep camps for the Europeans, every time I threw a punch I was getting a sharp pain in my hand. So at the start I didn't think it was anything of it, I just thought it was a little niggle and it would go away. So I carried on through, and then in the training camp I couldn't open bottles or every time I threw a punch, and it got to a point where I couldn't train at all. Yeah. So after getting it seen, Mick Driscoll sent me off to GB to get it checked out, and it turned out I had a grade 2 tear in my tendon. And so I had 2 weeks off before going to the Europeans. I couldn't throw a punch at all.
Oh, wow.
And then during the Europeans, warming up, I wasn't allowed to hit the pad. I couldn't make a fist. The only time I made a fist was walking to the ring. And then during the fights, it kept going. I spent more of the tournament in the ice bucket and crying than I did actually in the ring. So to get through it was incredible. It was the biggest achievement probably.
I mean, that is, to be honest with you, Gemma, that's absolutely tremendous. I mean, boxing people will understand this, but for you to be able to go into a competition having not, spent those last vital weeks in the gym working away, I mean, I have to commend you for that. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, so let's talk about, it seems like your next sort of 4 years are mapped out for you. What does that look like?
I've just gone to the woman development program on GB. So obviously these next couple of years are vital because I'm a senior now. So it's a whole different level. It's new experiences. It's going from the top with England to the middle and bottom again and working my way up to the top. So just getting the experience in trying to get higher and learning more with GB and getting the senior fights in to hopefully lead up to the 2024 Olympics is the one I want.
So you basically got that 4-year plan for the Olympics. Has this injury sort of tilted you off that plan, or?
A little bit, because obviously now I can't train again, and I'm going to GB now. I can't spar. I'm only back down to one hand. But I think if it's going to come at any time, this is the main pick, because I've got a bit of rest now. I've got no fights coming up, so to get through it now will probably be the ideal thing.
Yeah. And what does, when you are preparing for international competitions, what does your kind of working week look like?
Normally I'll get up in the morning, I'll either run or sprint. So every day it'll be a run or sprint, or 2 times a week it'll be S&C. And then at night it'll be coming to the boxing gym, having technical pad sessions, sparring, travelling to different places to get quality sparring for me, or different countries sometimes. And sometimes I'll have 3 sessions a day. So in the middle I'll come down with my dad, and we'll slow everything down, do a bit of technique, and just change slight little things that I need to adapt.
I mean, and that's pretty special, isn't it, that you were able to work with your father? I mean, he's a bit of a fight man himself, isn't he? Yeah,
he started all back when he was a kickboxer, and then I tried the kickboxing, it didn't work out, me and my brother. So I watched my brother in the gym do boxing, and I just fell in love with it and wanted to follow in his footsteps.
Thank God as well, thank God. I mean, also, just if you were going to talk to sort of some young girls that were going to come into the sport, firstly talk about, share your experience about how much dedication that an individual needs to make it to where you've got to.
I think it takes a lot of dedication, because it's not an easy sport. You're going in there and you're getting hit in the face. So I think it's going to take times where you've got to miss out on going out with your friends. The hard work's going to get very hard. Like in the gym, they're going to push you so hard. It's because they want you to do the best. And obviously the dieting, make sure all the food's right. But it's the most rewarding feeling, getting your hand raised and everything. So it's worth all the hard work. And
you obviously have made some really nice mates on GB, haven't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Simran, Shona, everyone. We're just all we know what everyone's going through. So it's nice to be able to share it with them, because they understand.
Because it's a massive thing at such a young age to really knuckle down and get on with the work. What I think is amazing is that you've made yourself accessible to the wider community, and not just the boxing community, but you've been going to certain events, haven't you, and giving talks, etc. Who was your role model for that?
My big role model was Stacey Copeland. So I remember when I was younger, she won the elites, and I think it was Haringey she won at the time. And my dad got in touch, and she came to the gym and she showed me a belt. And at the time, being a young female and not thinking there was many female role models there that are older, have done it all, to see her achieve everything and come spend time with me and take me on and take me to Ireland sparring and
wow, nice.
Yeah, she made so much time for me. So, and now to see how she's doing, paved the way, and see how she wants to do it for females, it makes me want to follow in her footsteps and have other girls look up to me, and I want to help them do it all as well.
I mean, it's fantastic. Tell us a few of the things that you've been able to do over this last sort of year.
So I go to schools now and do boxing sessions for young girls and boys, so they can see what it's like. I also invite other females boxers around the area, so they can come train with me and do sparring and bring them on. Me and Simran got invited to Parliament a couple of months back, where we spoke to the subcommittee about the benefits of boxing and how it should be in school criteria. And we also, a couple of weeks back, I went to a show, England v Wales, and I handed out the trophies and the junior nationals. Me and Simran handed out the belts for the junior nationals this year to the winners, and also the runner-up medals. So
I mean, that's really fantastic, because this is on top of being a full-time athlete.
Yeah. I think you've got to make it important though. Yes, I'm an athlete and I'm doing it all myself, but I think a big thing is giving back. It's when I was a kid, if I didn't have anyone doing that for me, like Stacey, if she was never there for me, it made me feel like I was the only girl in the sport sometimes, because I was in a gym full of lads. I didn't know any other female boxers. So for her to do that for me and how that made me feel, I think it's a big thing that I do it for other females as well. Massively.
And just finally, if there was a young girl that just came along and was like, I really want to box, but I don't know what to do, what sort of advice would you give them?
I think the big thing is just joining, come to a club and just have fun with it. I think there's no pressure at the start. Just listen to your coaches, know that it's not just a stereotypical, it's all these scary men boxing, and that they're a big family. And if you listen and enjoy it, you can go all the way.
I think that's fantastic advice, to be honest with you, Gemma. Real massive pleasure to have interviewed you. I wish you a speedy recovery.
Thank you.
Love watching you. I mean, absolutely fantastic talent. Keep doing what you're doing, and we'll just keep following you. Thank you very much.
If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber of Shadowboxruk UK, we'd love to see you, so please go ahead and subscribe now.